I'm a caseworker at the 20th Century Society, and we are the statutory body for the protection of 20th century architecture. And I'm here to talk, oh, it's a bit cut too, but to talk about the covered market. So we submitted the listing application for the covered market, and we think that it's definitely worth saving. So I'm initially going to talk a bit about the history of the market, and then I will say kind of what work we've done already to help preserve it. So the market was opened in 1936, and it was designed by the Horsley Bridge Engineering Company. And so there was originally just an open market, and then they decided to put a roof covering it. And the roof spans the entire width of the building, so 29 meters without any internal structural supports. And it uses this German system called the lamella system, which is where short beams are put together in a kind of diamond lattice that you can see that goes across the roof. And that means that it's completely freestanding apart from the walls along the side. And so we, to our knowledge, the covered market is the earliest building in the country that uses this system. And so there are a few other examples around the country, mostly military, that use this system and are listed because of their kind of structural innovation. And so we think that there is a good case for listing it based on its kind of the innovative use of the structural method. And so, yeah, we submitted an application to Historic England to have it listed. It's gone through its public consultation phase, and so we're just waiting for the Department for Culture, Media and Sport to make up their decision, really. And so if it comes back as listed, that means that the applicants will have to submit something that's called listed building consent, which means it's very hard for them to justify demolition. And they have to kind of work with the existing heritage, and so that means that they will have to reconsider the scheme kind of as a whole, essentially. So the application proposed that they remove sections of the roof and kind of scatter them around in sculptural forms, but we don't think that that's really doing enough to preserve it in its current state, especially because what's special about it is the scale of it. And so for its age, it's amazing that a structure can span this wide without having any internal structural support. And so we think that, by taking out a chunk of it, you're losing that sense of scale, which is what's most important. And so we're going to keep everyone updated with what happens with the listing application. And so we also consider that the loss of everything else surrounding it will also be detrimental, but from our position, kind of 20th century, this is the only thing that we can get significantly involved in. But we think that it's quite special and think that it's important to the local area, and we think it's also got the fact that there's a viable use going on at the moment is really a good argument in keeping it, because we see a lot of kind of big warehouse spaces where there isn't much interest, mainly because they're located kind of outside of the middle of settlements, but the fact that it's right in the centre of Woolwich and there is clearly a viable use means that we think that's a strong argument for keeping it.
Great, thank you. Very useful.